Okay, this is video number 2 of the PWE or plain white envelope trade series. The link for video number 1 is down there. That gets you to this point. And from here on out, we're going to do how to package and send a PWE trade. Supplies you need. You are looking at tape. This is masking tape, but preferably you'd use painter's tape. I use 2 different sizes. The skinnier one, which is like 1 inch, and I think the other one might be 2 inches. Painter's tape is used because it is not sticky and doesn't leave a residue. Ideally, I'd use the blue tape, but this is what I had, masking tape, so that's what I'm using currently. Next up, we have envelopes. This is a standard greeting card envelope. We have the number 6 envelope for smaller trades, less than 5 cards. I'd use that one. And then there's the number 10, which I use for most of my PWE trades. That goes all the way up to 27 cards. Next up is the stamps for postage. This is a forever stamp, which as of April 2021 are 55 cents, and they are forever. So if you see the price is going to go up, make sure you buy a bunch of them because it'll get your PWE there in the future for less money if you do that. Next up is a extra ounce stamp. Those are currently 20 cents as of today, and I got them for 15 cents. Those are also forever. So before the price went up, I bought a bunch of them to do that extra ounce or 2. You will need a pen and a Sharpie. Those are for writing out the address and the return address if you are not fancy and have a computer to do that for you. Next is Scotch tape. This is strictly for the outside of the envelope. This should be nowhere near any trading cards because it leaves a sticky residue which can get on the cards and is hard to get off for your trading partner and will possibly damage their cards when they're getting it off. Here we have cereal boxes or any other household thin cardboard that can be cut to size to add extra protection for your cards. Next up, we have top loaders and our card savers. These are for a little bit more expensive cards or when you have very few cards in there. If the trade is 1 or 2 cards, you're going to want to use those for extra protection. We also have penny sleeves, which can be used for additional protection and always should be used within a top loader. This is the 9-pocket binder sheet. They are made for putting in binders, but they work perfectly for PWEs. And this is what I use for the majority of my trades. Anywhere from 3, if you want to cut these up into 3 pieces, you can just put 3 cards in there and get 3 of them. Or you can fold them and get up to 18 cards if you put 2 cards in each. Here's some examples of 9-pocket sheets that have been cut in either 3 or 6 pockets because you have fewer cards and you don't need all 9 pockets. These are recycled from other people, which is a good idea to save money and both for the environment. Here's an example of the Amazon Basics 9-pocket sheets. They are very light and they are very cheap at 13 cents a piece. They are perforated so they fold very easily, and if you fold them properly you can save on tape because the cards can't come out because you're blocking it with the other section. The number one way a card gets damaged in a PWE is being loose, so you want to make sure that they're tightly in there and taped. You'll need a pair of scissors in cases where you have 12 cards or less and you need to cut up the 9 pocket into 6 or 3. Here is a food scale for weighing all of the PWEs. They can be had for anywhere from $10 to $15 online, and you need one that does precise weighing. I have heard that a forever stamp will get you 1 ounce, but I've found in practice that it goes all the way up to 2 ounces. So as long as you keep it under 2, you can use just 1 forever stamp. The cereal box cardboard that we showed earlier is for using the sandwich method, which we'll go over later in the video. This is an example of cardboard which you shouldn't use. It is too thick, and you have to be under a 1/4 inch thick for your PWE. The first packaging method I'll cover is the top loader sandwich method. This method I use for 1 to 3 cards. It uses a penny sleeve on the card and then puts it into a top loader for extra safety. Remember that a PWE has to be under a 1/4 inch thick, and with very few cards, we can get away with a lot of protection here by sandwiching in between additional cardboard. 1 piece of painter's tape on each side to hold it in there, because remember that loose cards is what gets them damaged, and then 1 piece of tape on each side will hold that together. And then that fits perfectly in a number 6 envelope, so it won't move around any further. If I was really sending this one out, it would already be addressed and have the forever stamp on here, because it is under a 1/4 inch thick and definitely under 2 ounces. Next up, we have the 14 card trade that came through from video number 1. The cards are not all the exact same thickness and weight, so that will affect things. These older 88, 89 Dunruss cards are about as third thick as a new Allen and Ginter, for instance. So you will get less of those cards in there if you're using ones with thicker cardstock. This 9 pocket sheet holds up to 18 cards. We only have 14, so 4 of them will only have 1 card in it, and the others will have 2. Based on the thickness of the cards, you can spread them out to make sure it's even. You want to make sure it is very thin, because you can only go over a 1/4 of an inch. The one side is folded, so it doesn't need any tape, and I use a small piece of tape on the ends in order to make it as thin as possible. Now I'm using a thicker piece of painter's tape and masking tape in this instance, and I'm going to write the trade number on there so that the person who gets it can match up and check in the trade when they get it in the mail. The thick tape goes all the way across the top, and this holds all the cards in if they are top loaders, and also helps with the thickness to keep it under a 1/4 of an inch. Next, you want to put the address, the return address, and your forever stamp on there. But I'm going to skip that portion due to privacy of my trade partner in this one. I do write "do not bend" on the top there, and on the back, and also on the front, and I put the trade number on there also. When they get the trade at home, the number's already on there, so if they don't open it right away, they can still check it in. And also, when I go to put it in the mail, I know what number it is without having to open it again. So that helps me. You may have noticed that I did not write non-machinable on there. This is kind of controversial in the community. I do not use non-machinable. The non-machinable costs an extra ounce stamp, and you need to bring it to the post office, where I just drop it in the mailbox. I am using Scotch tape here, the only place you want to use it on the outside, and that's because those little flaps there sometimes get pulled up and the machine will grab them, and now they're not going to get grabbed. I had heard that some of those non-machinables end up going through the machines anyway, so you're just putting an extra stamp on there for no reason, and you're taking the human element out of it by just dropping it in the mailbox, and you don't have someone guessing, how much your PWE costs. Okay, I weighed the envelope and it was under 2, and you see if it was at 2 when I dropped the extra ounce stamps on there, it went up to 2. I would have had to include one of those also. So you want to keep it under 2. What card you use is a big factor there, and even the thickness of the 9-pocket holder, those weigh varying amounts. The last method we're going to show here is a 7-card trade, which is a combination of a sandwich and a 3-pocket, which is a cut 9-pocket holder. In this case, we're just going to use 3 of the 9 pockets, and I am going to use one of the old Dunruss cards to triple up because it'll easily fit into there. Since I know we're going to be well under the weight here, I'm going to use the sandwich method again. 2 pieces of cardboard, right on there, thank you, and put the number on there. 2 pieces of tape to hold it down so they don't move, and then I'm going to tape the cardboard together to make the big sandwich that is ready to get in the mail. Put this one back on the scale and it's well under 2 ounces. So that is going to be one forever stamp. An additional packaging note here. If you have a 19 or 20th card or a couple that are more expensive than the other, and mind you that you don't want to send real expensive cards with a PWE, but say this was a couple bucks, you could use the sandwich method combined and put it in a top loader, or even have 2 top loader cards and then tape those into the middle of your 9 pockets and secure them in there, and that just gives those extra protection. So there's several different methods for sending your PWE, and all of them are very cost effective. If you have a better way to get your cards there safely, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.